Now, those experiences of Becky and Ben conform much more to the exploitation model Hesmondhalgh and Baker refer to Miège's reservoir of labour, the oversupply of labour, and one of their interviewees who said there is pretty much always somebody to replace you and do your job. Ursula Hughes, they quote Ursula Hughes saying that workers who accept these conditions are constructing new bars for their own cages or those of others. So yes, the classic exploitative dichotomy or sort of dialectic between worker and capitalist, or worker and workers and bosses. The difference between Emily and Dave on the one hand and Becky and the Ben on the other appears to me to have been choice. Emily and Dave, they sought freelance work as a less restrictive option to facilitate other projects, give them the freedom to fulfill themselves in other ways. That's similar, I suppose, to Moraj, JJ Moraj, when he says that he would take a couple of corporate jobs and then that might enable him to do some work for free just because he was interested in it. So that's Emily and Dave and possibly Moraj. Becky and Ben were going into effectively staff jobs which had been casualised. Ben at a regional level, Becky at a national newspaper. You could argue that they'd imported the model of impermanence, which Emily and Dave might have used to their advantage, and they'd applied it to staff who weren't choosing to lead a less stable life. Mark Juser, in Media Work, quotes James Curran saying, for the vast majority of those employed in the cultural industries, even more than in other industries, flexible specialisation has meant little job security, depressed wages, few employment rights, and long hours. And Hesmondhalgh and Baker, in a very complicated version of Freedom, they refer to the conditions of creative labour, risk-generating labour markets marked by irregular, insecure and unprotected work. And the experience, the latter-day experience of my interviewees seems to be marked by those same characteristics. So Dave, Emily and Becky all trained in about 2004, 2005. Ben probably trained in about 2010, 11. And by the time Becky, Emily and Dave all entered jobs with an entry point as full-time trainees and went on from there, by the time they were taking their second or third jobs, they were looking at rolling contracts or fixed-term contracts, and by the time 2011 and Ben had come around, he found that the entry level had also been casualised.